With Washington Angle, I'm Khawar Shamsul Hassan.
And I'm Anwar Iqbal.
And we're doing a quick review of what's important and what's going on in Pakistan during the last few days. And the number one news is the death of former president and dictator General Pervaiz Musharraf. It made headlines in American newspapers. And I would like to ask Anwar Sahab, what is your view on that?
Well, I mean, like if somebody dies, what do you say? First of all, as a Muslim, you're supposed to say Inna Lillahi, which is like to God belong and to Him we return. And having said that, it is, although it is natural for people to talk about good and bad things that person has done, but usually the tradition is that you forget and move ahead. What happened in this case is that some people, yes, did what they are supposed to do, but others did also criticize his policies, his actions, and so much so that the Senate in Pakistan could not even offer Fatiha for him.
Well, yes, and obviously there are two views to it. You know, one is what you put forth, that once somebody has passed away, we try to look past their sins, their bad actions, and just pray for their forgiveness, which is, I think, fine in a personal capacity. But at a state institution, at the highest level, you know, like the Pakistan Senate, they also had to put down a marker saying that no dictator would be given this benefit or this, I don't know what's the word for it, you know, the honor.
But basically, the message is that, look, elected government, tenure, I mean, non-political forces, which is obviously the armed forces, should never be involved in bringing down or toppling a government. The government should be allowed to complete its course and then go. What Musharraf did was wrong, which is toppling a government, and his second action, that was ordering a strike on Akbar Bukti, which led to his death. That should have not also happened, because that did an irreparable damage.
Right, and which started the whole insurgency in Balochistan and all that. And I think Musharraf gives us the perfect segue to move to the next topic, which is the terrorism rearing its head again in Pakistan. Somehow, I mean, Musharraf got legitimacy in the Western world by agreeing to help America fight that war. And Americans are thankful for that, as far as because, you know,
yes, I mean, that is how the American media covered it. I mean,
right.
Instead of, I mean, they did mention some of the things that he did in Pakistan, but mostly it was about the help or assistance he provided to America in Afghanistan.
Right. And so this new wave of terrorism that's starting, what do you think is behind that? And how do you think Pakistan will cope with it? And what do you think America or the rest of the world is doing to help us?
I think this is a very important subject. Actually, when we were thinking of doing this, we were focusing on other things, but I'm happy that you brought this up before other subjects, because this is now becoming a very major threat in Pakistan. The attack in Peshawar, and there were, like, it preceded smaller
attacks, yes.
And there have been other attacks after that too. And although the TTP is saying that it did not carry that out, but there are other forces, they are blaming ISK, and ISK is blaming them. But it only shows one thing, that both groups are now active, and both groups are targeting Pakistan. I think today I interviewed a senior U.S. official, Derek Chollet, who is with the State Department, and I asked him about him, and he said that, yes, I said that, is this the rise of TTP and ISK in Pakistan a cause of concern for you? He said yes, because whenever something like this happens, a group like this becomes active, it ultimately becomes an anti-American force. And so, yes, we are concerned, and we are engaging with Pakistan. We are holding a counter-terrorism conference where soon, most likely in Islamabad, where we will discuss all these issues.
So America is getting actively involved. And I don't know why I get a feeling that we're drifting away from China, but that's for another topic. Another day we'll discuss that.
I don't know whether we are drifting away from China or not, but China also has become a little more or little less certain on Pakistan. You can see that Chinese are also quietly watching.
Right, because they want to see which way we're going. You know, are we back to embracing the American dream? That move on to the next topic, which is we hear about it every day, which is the financial imbroglio that Pakistan is in. And
I mean, in simple terms, will the Pakistani economy collapse?
right. Would the Pakistan economy collapse? Would Pakistan default? Would IMF and Pakistan...
What do you say? Will Pakistan default?
I think default is a distinct possibility, but
Has it defaulted? Or
no, I don't think it has defaulted. And like we discussed in our previous shows in Urdu that we do, that America, China, even the Middle Eastern countries would not like to see Pakistan default. It's a large country, large military, a huge population, nuclear weapons. So nobody would like a country like that to default.
Nobody wants to destabilize Pakistan. That is true. That's what people say.
Right.
That even India does not want to destabilize Pakistan because that will mean having large groups of nuclear weapons moving all around its border. But financially, have we defaulted? Because a lot of people also say that we have already have defaulted, but people are not calling it.
No, I disagree with that, because the technical default is when we are unable to make our debt payments.
And
we've been making the debt payments. And as far as the economy of Pakistan is concerned, I don't think the economy itself will collapse, because there's a huge section of economy that is outside the books, the so-called grey economy, which keeps the country running. So it's not like people would not have food on the table and all that.
It keeps the country running, but what is the main sector?
What do you mean?
Construction.
All sectors, construction, textiles.
Textile is not outside.
No, you have to understand, there's 250 million people there. So there's so many businesses going on, the pan wala, the doodh wala, all those things will continue, because economy itself will not collapse, because a lot of stuff we create we produce on our own.
Okay.
So I don't think that is going to be a major, at least in my mind, that is not a major concern. Our concern is lack of dollars, unable to make future debt payments, dwindling
How
exports.
much is our total public debt?
The local public right now,
Total public debt.
what's coming up due? I think the total public debt is about 97 billion or
No, it
so.
was more than that. I was reading somewhere 200 and something billion.
That includes the local,
Yeah,
everything. Yeah, not just the foreign debt.
Yeah. The question that we didn't address is that Pakistan or IMF are negotiating a package to rescue the Pakistani economy, but they haven't yet come to any conclusion, although the IMF team has been there for 8 days. So why are the talks not leading to a conclusion?
Right. So they're not leading to conclusion for two reasons. One is the news that we hear that the IMF wants the future government, the future legitimate government that would be in for a 5-year term, to sign off on the accords.
Well, we are supposing that the future government will be in for 5 years.
Right. So, I mean, following the constitution, that's what should happen. There should be
Has
elections.
the constitution ever been followed?
Well, again, from IMF's point of view, they believe that the elections would be held by October or earlier, and whoever comes in power should have signed off
How
on
do we know that IMF believes that the election will be held in October?
They can only go by the constitution, whatever the constitution says. So that is how it will go. So there are harsh conditions.
Now you are sounding like a PTI hopeful.
No, I'm not sounding like a PTI hopeful. So the conditions are very harsh. The present government doesn't want to, implement all of them, because that would make them even more unpopular, if that's even possible. And they would not be interested in going to the elections. This is why there's this whole uncertainty whether the elections would ever be held or not.
And I'm not sure if elections will resolve the uncertainty. But let's move on to the other subject.
Right. So now we move to BBC put out a documentary, a 2-part documentary on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his role in the Gujarat riots that happened in 2002 and killed, about 5,000 people?
At least 2,000.
At least 2,000. Some reports say 5,000, some say even a higher number. And India has been trying desperately to block the dissemination of that documentary. Has it blocked on YouTube? Has it blocked on BBC website? And what do you think, Anwar Saab, we can do? And how can India pull so much weight that something put forward by BBC is being blocked?
Unfortunately, India is now a powerful country. It has the muscles to do such things, and it is using its muscles. particularly its economic power, to promote its own image and also to make Pakistan look bad wherever it can. And now they say they have been moved ahead, and now Pakistan is no more their target. It's China, but that is another discussion. The thing is that there was this incident that happened. 2,000 people got killed, and they blamed another incident that happened before that. They said that Muslims set fire to a train of in
Godhra.
Pilgrimages in Godhra, and it was in retaliation to that. And later investigations showed that that incident never happened. That train caught fire due to some
Malfunctions.
or somebody was carrying a stove or something, and that's how it caught fire, and there were no Muslims involved. But that is not even now discussed anywhere. I mean, there was a discussion on violence in South Asia at Carnegie, and I was one of the speakers. I started talking about Gujarat as well. I said a lot of things about Pakistan and Bangladesh and other places. And as soon as I mentioned Gujarat, I mean, all the Indians, they just all got up. They said, no, we're not talking about Gujarat. Fortunately, one of our friends, you know him too, Khawar,
Right.
and he got up and said, what? Those 2,000 people who were killed in Gujarat, were they not humans? Were they not killed? Was it not violence? I mean, why can't we just No, but that's another subject. How is it another subject?
Right.
This is the Indian attitude.
Right.
They don't want you to even talk about Gujarat.
So
because
what
they are
can we
presenting
do?
Modi as a world leader.
Right. So what can Pakistan do, Pakistanis do about that BBC documentary? What can we do to spread it and make sure that people living in the Western world are watching it and understanding? Because it's a very well-researched documentary. It has even an interview with Jack Straw, the former foreign...
Simple, share it. Watch it. First of all, say Pakistanis living in the West should watch it and then talk about it. Share it. Let people, encourage people to watch it. Because I'm not an anti-Indian, sort of a typical say India hater or anything. I want very good relations between India and Pakistan. I'm against wars. I'm against violence. But if something like this happens, it should be exposed. And if anyone, Modi or whosoever was involved in it, we should talk about this, and which they are not. So I think people should watch it, and people should encourage others to watch it.
Yeah, I think we should run like a series of seminars and whatever we can do to promote and disseminate the documentary wherever we can.
I don't know whether we can do that or not, and do a series of seminar. But yes, we should encourage people to watch it.
Well, that's it for our English roundup. Thank you very much for watching.